All right, guys, it's that time, magazine review time. Welcome back, everybody. This is going to be August 1985 BMX action. We got a Stomp and Stew nosedive landing at Honda Hills, and that's in Southern California. Photo by Gibby. It's a pretty cool cover. Look at that angle that Stew's at, man, and that's a big dude coming down with all that weight in the. But anyway, I love it. Killer interview with Richie Anderson in there. We're going to be testing a Mongoose Eric Group Signature Edition. Let's get into it. Guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing another BMX Action magazine review. This one's going to be August 1985. This is the first time I'm going to attempt to do this standing up. I sit down and work all day. You guys probably have seen, some of you have probably seen in my collection vlogs. So sitting down for 8 hours, and then I realized I wanted to do a video today, and I go, man, I just don't want to sit down for another hour or whatever, or 45 minutes or however it's going to take me to do this. So anyway, here we are. So cool thing, guys, I got something new to help me with my videoing. I picked up this selfie stick, and I'm not extending the stick out, obviously. I'm just using it as a handle. And it's from a company called Kazam Kazoo. I got this on Amazon. This is the first time I've used it, and it's already making a huge difference. Because normally I'm holding the camera like this, and my hand is cramping, and it's kind of hard to do it. So last video, I'm like, that's enough. I need to get something. So far, I love it. This thing flips open, and then it expands, and then my phone just goes right, nestles right in there, and it's going to really change my my game. And this was only like 15 bucks on Amazon, so I'm pretty happy about that. Anyway, I don't know what this company is, Kazam Kazoo, but for so far right now, I would say definitely this is a really good buy. Plus, this thing extends out like way out there like this. So if I wanted to, I could do some really good selfie pictures and things like that. And we're going to definitely play around with this more. But anyway, let's get into what we're here for. All right, today is BMX Action Magazine. Let's take a look and see what's in here today. We got Action Line, Ed Who, and Where's Wiz. Interview with Richie and Ronnie Anderson. Oh, that's going to be a good one. I want to get into that one. Freestyle How To, Roll Around with Ron Wilton. Racing. Champion, what is that? Beatrice A8, I'm sorry, ABA Pro Spectacular and Land of Lincoln National Springfield. Test the Mongoose Eric Group Signature Edition. And of course, we have some outtakes, and we already talked about the cover. It's a really cool cover, by the way. All right, let's get into it. All right. Ooh, wow, what is that? Looks like a Coke stain or coffee stain. All right, sorry, guys. Remember, these magazines are very old, and I already know by just thumbing through this that we're going to run into an issue. There's a page that was cut up, and we'll get to it eventually. Anyway, let's get into it. This is the second time I've seen this bike. I love the color combination. This is actually, it looks like they tried to emulate Eddie Fiola's bike with the yellow and the white, but are these Skyway Tough Wheels? They don't look like Skyway Tough Wheels, guys. What are those? Those must be like GT made wheels, because they're definitely not Skyway Tough Wheels. Look at the reflector holders on there and stuff like that. So they're not Skyway Toughs, but there's another ad, I think in a magazine or two back, where you see Eddie sitting on the bike, and he's got the white Skyway Tough Wheels against the yellow. That looks really cool. And you could get the same GT Performer with wheels. You know, it's funny thing about the GT Performer, this bike is made for racing, or for freestyle. And I think it was I want to say 86. I was at the Silver Dollar Nationals in Reno, and there was a kid riding this bike. He had a kind of a neon colored pink one, and he had race parts on it, and he was racing it, and he was doing pretty good with it. So I don't know what possessed him to race that bike, but it was still pretty cool. All right, here we go. We got the full Schwinn ad. Is there a Predator in your future? Of course, you know who it is, Mike Polson. That's a great ad. Great, man. They put some money in their advertising. I really appreciate it. This bike was $179.95. Wow, that's a steal. Now, it doesn't have the greatest parts on it. You can see the pedals are plastic. So it's got a really short stem on it, but it does have a laid-back seat post. It's got some Blue Comp 3 tires on it. I don't know if the forks are chrome moly, but the frame definitely looks chrome moly, so that's a pretty good steal for 179 bucks. Really good steal, actually. Let's keep going. Oh, we saw this last time. Zip it and lock it. These flight pads, those are really cool. And oh, here we go. GT Mach 1, even faster for 85. Now, I'm a big Tommy Brackens fan, and I really like to see him in the ads. He's such a nice guy. I've only ever met him once, and he probably doesn't even remember that because that conversation was like maybe 5 seconds long, which was really cool because I was at another race in Reno. He was already retired, and he was talking to Clayton John. Clayton John used to be the president of the ABA. And I walked up and I said, "Oh man, are you Tommy Brackens?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Oh my God, the human dragster," and I shook his hand and I was really excited to meet him. And then it was Clayton that said, "Why don't you guys take a picture together?" And I said, "All right." And now this is before the time of cell phones. So I had to take the picture with my flip phone, and I'll attach a copy of it up here in the corner so you guys can check it out. But it was a really cool moment for me to meet him. And it's weird because I was hearing him on a podcast not long ago, and I want to say it was on the Lane 8 podcast. And apparently he had already been retired from racing, and he took his girlfriend or fiance or something to a race just to go watch. And she knew that he raced, but she didn't know the popularity level that he had. When he got there, everybody was just all over him, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're like a celebrity." To us, he really is. Let's take a look at the team itself. 1985 number one team. Sheepdog in there. Rob Fade. There's Brackens himself. Deanna Edwards. I believe she passed away. That's so sad. But that's a really good looking shot of the team. Let's go forward. Action line. All right, let's read one. I like to read one. Let's see. Dear Ed, I need help. I want to be a member of the NBL and start racing. Can you tell me what I need to do? And that's a pretty straightforward answer. I mean, obviously, he says, "Oh, yes, one of the first big steps in everyone's fledgling racing career. First off, check around the tracks in your area, figure out which one you'll be racing most often, which sanction it runs under, and join that sanction for now. Then later, as you start expanding your horizons and traveling to other tracks, you can start thinking about joining another sanction or two if necessary." And I won't keep reading, but it's weird because back then you figured there was ABA, NBL, USBA, so there was a lot of choices. But I believe that the USA BMX national schedule is pretty big. I think there's like 20 races in there, and they just dropped that schedule. I was looking at it on Facebook the other day. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of races coming my way this year. I live in Northern California. There's one in Roseville, which is only like an hour drive for me, so I'll definitely going to be going to check that out. And I believe there's one in Bakersfield, but I did not see a Reno National or a Vegas National, so I was kind of shocked about that. Let's read another one of these. No comp. Mighty BMXA. I think your mag rules, I'm sorry. I think your mag rules, and so do your freestylers. What I want to know is, how come you don't have factory racing team? If ever starting one, please consider me. So that's kind of a good question. Why wouldn't the magazine have a factory race team? Well, they were not a manufacturer of bicycles or products. And I think if the magazine, this is my answer before I read his, I think it would be biased for the magazine to start their own race team and focus on one product because they test everything. So that would be my opinion. But let's see what Ed says here. He says, thanks, yeehaw. We kind of dig the mag and trick team too. As far as starting a BMXA factory race team, we could possibly do that but it'd be so killer. All the other factory teams would be hating life, and we don't want to hurt their feelings. I guess that's kind of a different way of putting it, but that's not what I was thinking. But that's pretty cool. Anyway, let's read one more, guys. One more. Let's see. Give me a who. Dear Ed, I saw the Mountain Dew commercial with R.L. Osborne, Ron Wilkerson, and those two other guys. Didn't recognize. They were totally radical. The best part of the commercial was when R.L. ramped off the end of the dock and did a 360 into the water. I absolutely remember that commercial. I definitely remember that. I'll have to look it up on YouTube. Maybe I can attach a picture or something. I don't know. Yeah, that commercial's killer, ain't it? Let's see. In addition to R.L. and Wilkerson, you should be able to spot Eddie Fiola. He does some of the aerial work and also a little cruising along while sitting on the handlebars. I remember that. AFA Prez Bob Morales, who does the rock walks in the very beginning, and former BMXA trick team member Pat I'm not just a hot dog anymore. Romano also has a part. And Cool Cast Pat also recently scored a brief riding spot in the Diet Coke commercial. Freestyle is getting pretty rad. It's getting pretty rad TV exposure, and that's true because let's face it. I mean, watching freestyle is just a little bit more exciting than racing. For us hardcore racers, we definitely want to watch racing because we all love racing. But for the average, well, I hate to say it, civilian, non-BMX racing type person, you look at freestyle and you think, man, that's really fun to watch, and it is. I definitely can't argue that. Oh, this is such a great ad. I love this ad. Hutch rides the new wave. Hutch Trick Team, new performing. Look at that, dude. Woody Itzen, Mike Dominguez. I was listening to Woody on an Dirty Knobs podcast. They did an interview with him, and I did not know Woody was a racer. Woody was not only a racer, he was a really good racer. And apparently they went overseas. I want to say it was Paris or France. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he had to fill in for one of the racers that got hurt, and he actually raced and qualified. I was shocked. I did not know he was a really, really good racer, and he had a lot of good stories about bikes that were stolen and recovered, and it is just really, really good. I recommend going back and listening to the podcast interview with him, because when I saw it was a freestyler, I'm like, oh, whatever. I love this podcast. I'm going to listen anyway. It turned out to be one of my favorite ones. It was awesome. Mike Dominguez, got a lot of respect for this guy. I love that he always runs the Skyway Toughs. It's so awesome. All right, let's keep going. Oh, hold on a second, guys. Hold on a second. Okay, looking at the Hudge Judge series, the Hudge Judge series frames, and then also the Hollywood frames. I remember when I saw these ads, and I told my mom, I go, Mom, I want one of these frames. I could not find one. I remember we went to our local bike shop. It was in Hayward, California. I'll never forget. It was called Schwinn Cycle Path. And I went in there, I told him, I want a Hudge Judge series frame and fork. And he did not know what I was talking about. He opened up this catalog. He goes, I don't know what that is. And I should have just simply brought this magazine and go, this is what I'm talking about. I think what I liked about the Judge series is I really love that white, by the way, that white and chrome. That is really amazing looking. Look at that. That's beautiful. But I love these candy colors. Those are really cool. And Mike's bike is awesome. You know, obviously Mike rolled with the pink. Wouldn't have been my choice, but looks so cool. Look at that violet color. And then of course there's like two shades of purple here. Not too sure what you would call these, but very, very, very awesome. Very awesome. Hutch really threw it down. Look at that. Love it. Love it, love it. Let's keep going. Oh, here we go, guys. Now, here's a picture that is missing. So I'm pretty pissed because I'm like, oh no, and I must have taken this out and I must have put it on the wall. Oh my gosh, that irritates me. But I love this shot of Richie and Ronnie. Look at that. That's just so cool. And the simple fact that I'm a huge Skyway nut, to see this is just awesome. And just today, guys, I belong to a group page on Facebook. It's called the Skyway Appreciation page. It's ran by this gentleman named Grant. And oh my God, this guy just posted a pair of these 09 pants. He says, if anybody's interested in buying these, DM me. And they're 09 Skyway pants. They're red and blue, and red, white, and blue, excuse me. The back of them is all red, and then when you turn it over on the back side, it says Avalanche. I was like, oh my God. And I made a comment on it, and I said, man, only if my short ass could fit in those, I would wear them now. I'm going to see if I can find a photo of that on the Skyway Appreciation site. I think the gentleman's name's Grant Stone, yeah. And he runs the site, and it's really cool. If you're into Facebook, you should try to check out his the friend page for it. It's called Skyway Appreciation instead of Recreation, and he's got merchandise and everything. It's really, really cool, especially if you're kind of into the Skyway thing like I was. And this is really cool. I wish I had time to read through all of these interviews, but it would just take too long. But this is a really cool one. All right, let's go to the next page here. Oh, we got the Zap Pad ad again. Greg Hill, man, he was still rocking the Zap Pad. I wonder how long this contract went on with this guy in Zap Pads. You know, it's all the way through his GHP days. That's a really cool looking GHP. I love the orange. There's photos of him racing one of these, and the spokes are orange and everything. It looks really cool. Hopefully we can run into something like that down the road. Got a pedal here. GX Gripper. Wow. I don't even remember seeing anybody run these. It's a good looking pedal though. It almost looks like a clipless pedal when you first look at it. It's weird. Pretty cool. Ready, aim, fire. We've seen this ad before with Pete Lonkarovich. This is a really good one. I love the gate, the wooden gate. It's really cool. See how he's racing in Reeboks? I used to race in Reeboks a lot. I raced in Vans most of the time, but I didn't shy away from racing in like a Nike cross trainer, a Reebok. I've raced in anything that looked good with my uniform. I just wasn't really that picky. Anything other than a basketball shoe, I wouldn't do something like that. It was always a low top. Oh, here's your GHP BMX Excellence from GHP. Really cool. I love the chrome, man. Love that. Chrome and orange, that's it. I heard Greg say the other day that orange is one of his favorite colors. Maybe that's where that all came from. We got Nighthawk BMX. Complete bike. You can get an SE Racing hauler for $194.99. That's pretty good. A GT Mach 1 was $217. Haro Master Freestyler, $394.99. I think that bike's like $1,000 now if you try to buy it brand new. They got the frame and forks here. You can get a SE Quad Angle Freestyle frame with the landing gear forks for $193.99. Now they're starting to get up there. I remember, here's a cool memory. I used to love going in the bike shops in the 80s. And you would walk into a bike shop and it's not like it is today where it's, you see a lot of the 29ers, 26 inches, lots of road bikes, lots of mountain bikes. But back in the 80s, man, you could walk into, say, like a Schwinn Cycle Path or F&M Cyclery in Fremont. There was Hank and Frank, all these different bike shops that we had access to in the Bay Area. And there would be literally frames hanging all over the ceiling, frames, wheels, forks, handlebars, all the parts you could potentially want were right there. You rarely had to order something. Like if you decided I'm ready for a brand new frame, you just walk in a bike shop and pretty much every brand you can think of was there. And man, I miss those days. We still have access to buying stuff like that. Now most of the stuff is online. And that's what's really kind of sad for bike shops. We need to support our local bike shops, go in there and order stuff, buy stuff, and keep them going. There's one really cool bike shop not far from where I live here in Stockton, and I go there quite a bit. They do all my repairs for me. They've put my bikes together for me. I really like that bike shop, and they do have some BMX stuff, but it's not like back in the 80s where it was just exploding with bicycle parts, man. And I loved it. It's called Robbie's Bike Shop, by the way. And they've done a lot of stuff for me. When I got my GHP, they put the whole GHP together for me. As I was putting the Skyway together, anytime I got stuck on something or something just seemed like a little bit too difficult for me, took it to them and they did it, as far as like installing the forks, the headset, cutting it for me, all that. Because I don't have the tools for it and I wanted it done right. It's a great bike shop. I love going over there. All right, let's keep going. The roll around. Or variations of a rollback exit. Let's start from right here. We got 1. Looks like he's coming down from ramp 2, 3, 4, 5. Now he's with one hand. 6. Back over here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Pretty cool. Real basic trick. Things that I think if you're a freestyler, you have to master a lot of these basic tricks before you can start getting into the big stuff. I think I mentioned in another review, I never was really good with tricks. I can only do a couple things. So I definitely have a lot of respect for what these guys can do. Let's keep going. Oh, they're still talking about the roll around here. GT Performance parts, all freestyle stuff right here. Look at these tires though. Those are really cool. I like them. Really cool, but all freestyle. Oh yeah, here we go. For those who ride the line, red line. I love it. Now, here's what I liked about the red line ad. They didn't abandon racing, and they see how it went 50-50? you're like, yeah, we're big on freestyle. We have one of the biggest names in freestyle in R.L. Osborne, but they're also big on racing. And let's take a look at the race team. There's Scott Clark in the middle there. So the factory team was Scott Clark, John Anderson, and Robert Swick at the time. Love that. Look at this race picture here. That's a great shot. I always like these number plates that screwed onto the handlebars. This is kind of ahead of its time too, because prior to this was really the only number plate back then that was very, very small. Most of the number plates, you figure Haro, 09, all the big name number plates, they were big. They took up a lot of real estate on your handlebars. And see, Redline was kind of like thinking forward. Now, I just put a brand new number plate on my Skyway. I just ordered a box number plate, which I'll attach a picture of that too. And it's so small against the handlebars. It's almost like, I almost wanted to get like a retro Haro plate and put it on there. But I'm like, let's keep it modern in the theme. So I put it on there. I could always switch it later. Let's keep going. What do we got here? Grand Nationals for the NBL. I think I've seen this one before. Matter of fact, I know I have because I remember reading all these purses. Rockfield BMX. Oh gosh, check out these CW cranks. Tubular cranks. Those are sick. I love those. Get your Haro frame, GT stem. These looks like little frame standers or whatever they are. I don't know. But all freestyle. Man, pushing that freestyle. Let's keep going. Midwest National BMX. We got another bike shop here. Ukiah wheels. I definitely had a set of these. I just said in the other last magazine review, I missed the chrome wheel. Man, I had a set of chrome Ukiahs. It actually came with my Haro RS1. It came with a set of chrome Ukiahs. And when I was done with the Haro, I kept the wheels and moved them onto the next bike. And it was funny because I built a PK Ripper off of what was left of the Haro. I built like this custom PK Ripper, and that bike was like this candy red and chrome with profile cranks, chrome boss handlebars. It was just a sick build. And it was funny because I had built that bike in the 88, 89, and I raced it all the way up until the first time I decided I was done racing, which was around 93, and then I went back in 98. But anyway, getting back to the story, the PK Ripper had these chrome wheels on it, and I decided, man, I don't think I'm going to race again. Maybe I'm going to sell this PK Ripper. And I went on to this website. It was called oldschoolbmx.com or something, and people were chatting in there, and I told the guy, I go, yeah, I've got a PK Ripper from the late 80s, and this one guy, he immediately said, hey, how much do you want for it? I really don't remember how much I sold it for. I want to say it was like $500. And he bought it almost sight unseen. He goes, dude, I need to see that you have the bike. And again, I had to use a flip phone camera to take the picture. And then I sent it to him via email. And he goes, man, I want this, but I don't want to send you this money order and you don't send it back. He was really freaking out. And I told him, I go, look, I assure you, man, here's my phone number. You can call me and I'll make sure you get the bike. And he sent me a cashier's check. And as soon as I got it, I took the bike over to a FedEx store and I shipped it to him. And I was so sad that I sold that bike. And I still regret it. I really should have just kept it and just put it away. I don't know what I was thinking. And anyway, when he got the bike, he sent me a text message immediately. And he goes, Danny. I go, what? He goes, did you keep this bike in a bubble? Because this thing is freaking perfect. I was laughing. I go, man, I always keep my bikes in the house. I don't leave them in the garage. I certainly don't leave them outside. So they stay in good condition. I mean, it had the normal wear and tear, like the scratches on the pedals and things like that. There's some nicks in the paint, but for the most part, the bike it was beautiful. And man, I really wish I would have kept that. Okay, let's keep on trucking, guys. Well, we've seen this ad before, Cool It, with the pool and I'm wondering how they pulled this off. I should look that up and see, how did you guys make this? Or was the background just added on a green screen? Or that's a really cool ad. I like it. Diamondback. Let's keep going. Okay. I don't know what I cut out here, guys. Again, I'm so mad that I did this. Who knows what was here? It must have been a great picture. Or it probably came from the other side, whatever it was. But all right, well, let's keep going. What do we got here? Beatrice ABA Pro Spectacular in the land of Lincoln National, Springfield. No point even reading about this picture because I ruined it. Oh, look at this. Love it. Got Eddie King here and Harry Larry. Looks like that's Scott Clark. And Abrams here, and I want to say that's Stu Thompson. Let's just read it. New perspectives. Check out how everybody lines their bikes up crooked, which I like, so that the time they torque through their first pedal, they're aimed straight out of the gate. That's pretty rad, huh? And it is. That is pretty sick. All the pros were doing it. That is such a good picture. Some of the greatest pictures that I've seen in racing photos have been the riders all coming out of the gate at the same time. And those make for really great photos here. There we go. Oh, we got Brent Romero right there. He won 12 Expert and 11-12 Trophy Dash. And then, who is this one? Frank Gregory. And this little dude here, well, he's a grown-ass man now, but Ryan Krupe. Wow, that was Ryan Krupe? That's really cool. All right, let's keep going. Oh, wow. Great photo, dude. Love it. That's got to be Poulsen. Let's see. Oh, no, it says right here. We couldn't ID this dude, but one thing is for sure, he's flying. Definitely some, I have no idea, Bulgarius blazing going on. Moto Roosters. Wow, that is a great shot. This poor guy. He's like, that's really me. I mean, he must have, when he saw this in the magazine, he must have been going crazy. And he goes, I know it's blurry, but that's me, guys. I swear that's me. His friends were probably like, yeah, right, that's you. Oh, I love this picture. Look at this shot, guys, of Eddie King right here. I'm sorry, Mike King. Look at that. This guy was so stylish. I used to love his riding style. Love it. Who do we have here? Lawin Cunningham snufficated the 13 Expert main and picked up second in 13-14 Cruiser. And then for Mike, it says Mike King may have bought the farm in his open class main, but thoroughly trounced the 15 Expert class to make up for it. Total domination. Wow, that's a great shot. What do we got down here? Oh, check it out. 17 and over Expert eliminator, top eliminator, Charles Townsend. He wasn't even pro yet. He was a big dude, man. Big dude. I know I talked about this before, but he was doing gate practice one night, him and Rick Palmer at our local track, and I was just shocked how powerful those guys were. They were big and strong. All right, so let's check out the Springfield track. What do we got here? Pretty simple starting hill. Looks like good first jump, tall, but not too deadly. So you had to be a pretty good speed jumper. We called it speed jumping. Now they just call it manually. You got an abrupt speed jump right here, moving into a berm. And then it looks like just a slight roller going into some soft stuff here. Jump before the berm. Not a big fan of jumps before the berm because in my head, I would be concentrating more on the jump than the actual berm. So in my early years of racing, that used to throw me off. And then you come in here and you got Richie was swooping dudes right and left here. Total washboard at the end of the berm. Just got some kind of like a stutter bumps here. Another little small set of doubles, speed jump, flat turn, guys. This is foot out right here. Speed jump, and then your finish. Looks like a lot of fun, but man, you can see that probably required a whole lot of pedaling. Let's see who won the pro class. AA Pro, Gary Ellis won it. Pete Lonkarovich came in second. Ron Anderson third. Richie Anderson fourth. Brian Patterson fifth. Eddie King sixth. Greg Hill seventh, and Tommy Bracken's eighth. Boy, all the big guys were there. That's awesome. Who won Pro Cruiser? See, Rob Fade won Pro Cruiser. Richie Anderson second. Ron Anderson third. Oh, man, Richie and Ronnie were going at it. Rob, what is that? Caldera? Yeah, Rob Caldera, Eddie King, and Stu Thompson. Wow. Pro Open. Tommy Bracken's won Pro Open, though. Stu Thompson and Ron Anderson took third. And then for A Pro, Doug Prather, Chelsea Brooks, and John Tomac. Oh, John Tomac. Yeah, his son became a Supercross superstar. That's crazy to see that. All right, let's keep going. Oh, here we go. Deanna Edwards. We talked about her earlier. Sad that I'm almost positive she passed away. That's really sad. Whose is this? Gary Ellis rips Norton on the back of his plate. Take a peek at the back of Gary Ellis's plate. He just takes a quick peek at it before the gate drops, and he changes his mind-mannered self into a pedaling, stomping monster. And then who's here? John Anderson. It's a great shot of John on red line. Really, really good shot. Look how big the number plate is. See, I'm telling you guys, things were so different back then. We got Hank and Frank. We were just talking about this bike shop. And I believe this was out of Oakland, California. Yeah, Oakland, California. Hank and Frank. And they got like not much in here. You can get some uni BMX pants for 26 bucks. Haro gloves for 29 bucks. Haro elbow guards for $17.99. What else did they have bike part wise? Ooh, you can get a set of Pro Class wheels for $54.95 for a set of wheels. How cool is that? Bullseye Z wheels were $109.95 because of the Bullseye hubs. GT BMX Z wheels, 94 bucks. Skyway Tough wheels were $59.99. That price hasn't changed a whole lot. You can go on to Planet BMX and get yourself a pair of Skyway Tough wheels for probably less than 100 bucks or right around 100 bucks. And man, I was like, I'm so determined, guys. I've mentioned this a bunch of times. I want a set of graphites so bad. And I went onto their site to see if anything had come in, and they had some. But I don't want just graphites. I want it with the gold flange. I don't want it to have the plastic flange. I want a gold flange. And they are $500, guys, just for the graphites. And they were sold out. So as long as people are willing to pay that much, then they're going to keep selling them for that amount. What can I say, you know? Let's keep on keeping on. Got another bike shop ad here. Action BMX Company and Choices. What's this? ACS wheels. So ACS, I believe, made the Z rim. Yeah, so you can see all the different colors of Z wheels. And they had their own version of the Tough wheel here, which looks like that was what was on the GT from the beginning opening page that we were looking at. Man, we're almost through the magazine, guys. That's a fast one today. Lots of ads. Frankfurt BMX, and then West BMX. Oh, wow. That is iconic. Look at that shot. That's got to be Billy Griggs. Mary Lou Retton, which was a big gymnast back then in the 80s. Eat Your Heart Out. What grace, what style. The ace amateur half of Team Mongoose, Billy Griggs, blasting skyward at Colossus. You guys, how sick is that? He's fully clicked out. Look where his foot is. That is so stylish, man. I love it. Jesus. Man, we had it good back then. Anyway, this thing feels like a limo. I guess the bike was pretty long. Look at the frame itself is pretty sweet. Look at that. That's Billy's, you know that's Billy's bike. It's got redline flights on it. Yeah, Billy's bikes are always really cool. I saw him on YouTube. He was in Oklahoma, and one of his bikes is in the Hall of Fame section that they have in Oklahoma at the headquarters, and it's one of his Haros. It's fully tricked out, you know, and his stuff is always really cool to look at. What do we got here? Looks like RL about to do a foot plant on the wall here. That's really, really cool. Here's the bike they were testing. Look at those wheels. Those are sick. Really nice frame setup. That's a nice bike. Nice bike. I don't know what this one was going for. Oh, snap. Look at these, guys. Is that Eric Group? Yeah, that's Eric Group doing his thing. Look at Billy's just going off that day. Dang. And even Osborne, RL is getting crazy. This is a good quality bike. As you can see, these are really all top riders, and they're just tearing it up on that thing. Eric Group headed for loftier, what does this says? Eric Group headed for loftier heights. BG, that's Billy Griggs, crossed up in styling, and RL checking the flight characteristics of the Eric Group Signature Edition. No problem. No wonder this is a high-end bike. It's Eric Group Signature Edition. It's not just like a standard Mongoose. Oh, this is a great picture. I love these roosting pictures, you know, when they're just roosting up the dirt. That is such a great shot. Man, they really spent a lot of time putting together some quality photos for these tests. I love it. Here's the bike specs right here. Mongoose Eric Group Signature Edition. The top tube. What is the top tube? What is the... Oh, it doesn't say. I wanted to see what the top tube length was. I bet you it was super short because they didn't really have the long frames out yet, but that is really, really cool. Great shot here. Look at this one. RL's getting crazy. Bonsai jump. That is so cool. First class BMX, which you've seen that before. And we got some different colors for the Amy grips. A lot of pastels, man. It's like we went from checkers to neon to pastels. You can just see the trends in these magazines, what was popular at the time. You got your standard subscribe to the magazine, $14, $14.50. And then of course there's Ralph Sampson again. And that's it, guys. We're pretty much done with the magazine already. That was quick. That was about 34 minutes, and we got through it. A lot of ads again. And that is all she wrote. Here's the outtakes from the test. But anyway, guys, that was a fun one. Thanks for sticking around. As always, I love doing these reviews. I was looking through my magazines and realized I have like no BMX Plus magazines. I was trying to find some to do something a little bit different, and I couldn't find anything. I do have some Go magazines left. I've got BMX Action left. I have Snap magazines. I have some of those. Those were in the late 90s, so I'll be looking at some of those down the road as we start to progress through these. And I have a lot of American BMXer magazines, so we can get into some of those as we get further down the line. And one of my cousins, his name is James, he's really into BMX as well. I think he has a pretty decent magazine collection, so I might have to hit him up to get some loaners so I can do some more videos. But as always, guys, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.
I got it. At first it was hard. Nobody believed me. Ever since then, I'm making it clear. This my year. This my year. I hustle in the dark with a bright my head. Get the bright idea.